Hello, everybody. I hope we're all having a very, very relaxing time. What we're going to be doing today, oh, hello. If you're just joining us for the first time ever, delighted to have you with us. What we're doing is we're running a completely free web development bootcamp. And we're sort of towards the end of it, but it's a little bit experimental where there's no deadlines, there's no grades, there's no attendance. So these videos that we're doing right now will continue to exist on the Class Central YouTube channel. And if you're late, if you're worried about stuff, it's always going to be there. Nothing bad is going to happen. Having said that nothing bad is going to happen, today let's check what we're going to be doing. We've done so much together. This is week 5 of our 6-week boot camp. We're going to take a deep breath down. Because we're coming way down. And we're going to be doing CSS grid today. There's a bunch of components. And if you remember from yesterday, that's because there's a lot of little tiny components. To make things even more challenging than usual. Oh, look at this. Look how nice this is. I am personally absolutely terrible at CSS grid. So even more than usual, our learners, I'm so sorry to bully you. Y'all are going to need to help me out because I promise I'm going to get constantly stuck. But we're going to be making this magazine together. And what we're going to do is we'll get started together. And then y'all are going to have to finish on your own for homework. Homework doesn't mean do all this before tomorrow. Homework means, hey, this is something you're going to have to do on your own when you get to it. And CSS grid kind of implies that we're going to be placing things in a grid, which really this seems especially useful for. Let's start. All right, let's do the stuff we've done a ton of times before. And what we're doing right here is we are setting, hey, this is HTML. I'm going to start my HTML element. I'm going to set the language, I bet. Oh, you didn't tell. Oh, specifying the pages in English. Okay. So that is actually what I want. Everything's fine. Language is English. Okay. Then let's close our HTML element. We're just saying to ourselves as well. It's a very relaxing day, isn't it? We're going to do our body tag. Okay, head element and body element. And inside, so inside our head element, we need the meta care set. And we're going to set this to UTF-8. We're also going to add the meta tag for responsiveness. And I always forget that. That's not a big deal. I'm going to go get it. Oh, I bet it's this viewport tag right here. Amazing. And once you search for it, it's easy to find again. Here we go. Viewport basics. Meta name equals viewport. Content equals with device initial scale. Yeah. That's what I want. And this is one of those cases where just copying and pasting isn't going to hurt us a single bit. Format that just so it feels pretty. Let's see if that's what it wanted. Well, that's not what you want. Initial scale 1.0. 1.0. Yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and bop on. So let's add a title. Everything's fine. Our title is called magazine. I'm going to copy that just to be super, super lazy. The title. Okay, and our title closes. Magazine. Oh, and let's link to this font. Link. A font's still a style sheet, isn't it? Well, you know what? If it's not, it's just going to give us a little error. A link is a self-closing tag. We don't need to worry about the other half of that element. And I'm going to link to this URL, which takes us to Google API's fonts. We can do this. And I'm also going to go ahead and link to, okay, we've done this before, our style sheet. So we're going to link to our CSS as well. We're going to do 2 links. Rel style sheet. And here I'm going to have our ref where we're throwing that anchor to be equal to styles.css. Let's see if that worked. It didn't work. It didn't work. Oh, I should have 3 link elements. Oh, okay. You want 3 of these? I can do that. I only saw the 2. Let me go ahead and reformat you as well. Well, that's all the formatting we get then, isn't it? We're going to do a link rel. I think this is a style sheet. And our ref for this one is this second URL it's given us. What do we think? You think this is going to be chill? It's chill. We've got that green stripe. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine. So in our body, okay, let's talk through what we're going to do while I do it just real fast. We're going to get a main element, a main element. And I'm going to close you as well. I like to close an element when I start it, just out of habit. If you're using something like VS Code, which we can take a look at after the bootcamp ends, take a look at maybe getting all that set up and how that works. Oftentimes when you start an element, it'll close it for you as well, which is magical. And here we're going to create a section. All right. Oh, and the section has a class. And the class is called heading. Okay, that's chill. We've got this. We've done this. Oh, we've done this a bunch of times. So this kind of feels a little bit chill this time, doesn't it? I think that's what it wanted us to do. We've got that green stripe. Let's bop, bop, bop. This is just letting us know, hey, the boot camp's always free. There's no way to pay Jess. There's no way to pay Ramon. But if you wanted to donate to Free Code Camp, they're a nonprofit that makes the curriculum we use. And if you have the extra money, don't spend money you ain't got. But if you have the extra money, it's kind of a cool thing to do. I donate separately, I promise. So within our heading element, create a header element. It's a little bit stressful, isn't it? Within our heading element, so within the element we've made that has the class, because remember this full stop is the CSS notation for a class, create a header element. Okay, let's do that first, just so we don't lose track of it, yeah? I think it wanted me, and this header element we've just made has a class that's set to hero. We can do that. Even if I was going to say even if we screw it up a little bit, but even if I screw it up a little bit, it's not going to hurt us. Inside of that, let's do an image. Okay. And the image is going to be set to this. Let's do that. This is feeling a lot like our projects, isn't it? Let's go ahead and just as we go, keep formatting. So our section, I'm going to put our image on another line just to go ahead and keep it clear in my head. Ooh, that's quite big. Ooh, it's not what I expected. I think we had, I'm going to put the class it requested, but before I fuss at you, what do we must have anytime we do an image? That's a real question, and I bet y'all know the answer because I'm about to do it as well. When you have an image, you got to do alt text. It's a decent thing to do. Yeah, look at y'all. Y'all are like alt text after my own heart. The class is going to be set to hero image. Do you know what? This is a very big image. I bet we're going to do some stuff to it. So the loading, I think we haven't done any loading at all yet. Yeah. So the loading attribute on an image can be set to lazy. And what lazy loading is really doing is saying, if I've got an image that's way down the page, don't load that image until my user scrolls down. So something like a magazine would be an especially good one to say, hey, I've got a bunch of images in this article. Or in this series of articles, my magazine has a bunch of images all the way down. With lazy loading, I'm giving my user a break with their bandwidth and saying, hey, don't load this image until we scroll down and see it. Cool. So, and this, it doesn't quite tell us how to do this brand new attribute, but it says to set the loading attribute to lazy. The same way a happy developer, the lazy developer, I think a happy image. The lazy image. We love laziness. Oh, so that didn't quite work. What am I missing? Oh, oh, I set the alt text to the same thing as the class, and that's hero image is not good alt text. It doesn't describe what the image is. Whereas I'm told this is a free code camp logo. Is it just too big? Is it just too, oh, heck. It is a giant free code. I bet we're going to deal with that in a second, it being too big, huh? Or instead of too big, it's not responsive. After our image element, let's add an H1. Okay. I'm going to do these little by little. I'm going to say an H1. I'm going to close it just because I like to keep them closed. Our H1 that has a class set hero title. Okay. And I like these class names because these are very human readable, isn't it? And this is hero title. Next is our new curriculum, all in caps, very, very yelling. Back in my day, when I first got on the internet, I was told that all caps was sort of internet yelling, followed by a P with the class hero subtitle. Okay, we can do that. Younger people, does it still count as yelling when you use all caps on the internet? Oh, y'all can't see me typing. You are very patient. I'm so sorry, my loves. Oof. Patient with me again. My loves is terribly familiar, isn't it? My esteemed learning colleagues. There we are. That's a bit better. So, and we see we've got our H1 with class hero title, our P with a class of hero subtitle. And I think we're going to have to go all the way down here to find, because this image is too big, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Alex is saying, you know what? All caps can still sometimes yelling, but it could also be read as excitement, like maybe yelling excitement. Platypus makes the compelling argument that caps locks is cruise control for cool, further reinforcing that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Everybody in chat just like, oh, caps now. We're cool. Everything's cool. Oh no, what have we begun? So here we go. Exactly what I was saying to say, look, you know what? This image is a little bit too big. Let's go ahead and set the width. And we're going to set a width within our HTML instead of doing this in CSS. Does anybody remember what it's called when we set these kinds of things in HTML instead of CSS? Here it says, we're not going to keep it this way. This is a weird way to do it, but we're just going to do this while we work on it. What kind of thing would it be called? So I think this is inline styling. Yeah. Width is, oh no, that's how we do it. Yes, that's not how we do it here. Michael, do you know what? With the delay, I bet you said that before, typed that before I said it. Oh no, Kaya's saying you've got a Gen Z colleague, a Zoomers, as the babbies I believe are, as telling you that all caps is uncool. Oh no, capitalization is all. Oh, so when you see people typing with like I and a lowercase I am super chill with cap. I've been told animated GIFs are uncool now as well. No, Michael, your connection's not slow at all. Mine's just fast. The width is going to be set to 400. And when we say 400, by default, if we don't specialize, I think this is going to be 400 pixels. Let's double check by saying 400 pixels. And that didn't change. So we think 400 pixels is probably that. Oh, we've got that green stripe. Everything's fine. We're bopping along. We'll get to the hard stuff any minute now. But while we're doing the easy stuff, let's enjoy. And if this doesn't feel easy, don't worry about that either. I'm just saying this is easier for me because the CSS grid stuff is super hard for me. So the div, it's going to have a class set to author. A-U-T-H-O. That's just weird, huh? Okay, so we made a clip, and within that div, okay, so a child of this div, we have a P element with the class. I really like these classes because they give you a really good idea of the kind of content that's going in here, isn't it? Even before we have any text we've added, we've got a good idea of what kind of stuff is in here. The author name is going to come in here. Okay. Oh, and give it the text buy free code camp. Buy free code camp is fantastic. Wrap. Okay, wrap. We can do that. And what this is really saying is, hey, make this a child, wrap it in a link. We've got this. We've done links before. The world is big and hard and scary. But wrapping this in an anchor tag, a link, we're going to be fine. We're going to set that to freecodecamp.org. And we see as soon as we've done that, that becomes a little link, even though it doesn't go anywhere yet. And we're also going to come in here and set the target to blank. Someone who is not me is going to remind us what that does. What does it do when we set the target to blank? And while I'm doing that, or while I'm waiting for y'all, I'm going to go ahead and create another P element with the class of, with the class of publish date. Super chill. Oh, y'all, all of you just jumped up with the right answers so quickly. Look at this. Look at this. Opens the link in a different tab, opens the link in a different tab, opens in a new window or a tab. And that's true because on the browser user, you can specify window or tab. Opens in a new tab. Everything's fine. Oh, thank you. Y'all are going to have to keep yelling at me to scroll down. There's this little pink. Can I get rid of that pink stripe at the bottom? No, not very well. Okay, so I'm just going to have to keep fussing at me whenever I'm not paying attention to y'all enough. And here I'm going to grab this link, March 7th, 2019. For those of you who are younger and don't have a firm memory of 2019, I mean, you'd have to be a little bit too young for this course. Remember how little we had to work? I mean, 2019 was still stressful, but okay. Our A element should be within within. Where am I? So what I'm going to do is move this around. And this is just saying, okay, the link should be inside this first paragraph element. I've copied and pasted them and just moved them inside the P tags. Oh, wait. Wrap the free, only the free code camp. Only, I see. Y'all are right as the day is long. Okay, we think that works. Oh, that's fine. So what it wanted me to do is say, oh, buy shouldn't really be a link. I just want the link to say free code camp. Okay. We still need that space. And Kai's pointing that out as well. We still need that space. Somebody's pointing out that they are not, they weren't able to see the project we're working on. So, where, how do we see it? How do we see it? Huh. I guess once it's gone, I can't see it anymore. Sorry, Bab. Let's bop on. So we're making a magazine and it'll slowly develop around us. So if you're looking for where we're at, if you're clicking here, it should pop up. There we are. Here's a preview. So if you click on that very first activity, it pops up. Super chill. Where am I? Where are we? Refer. Ooh, we haven't done this before. We haven't done this before at all. Wild. So this is about an HTTP header. And you say, okay, Jess, this is a lot of information at once. I don't know what that means. And I don't know what that means. But let's read this. And then I'll get you some optional reading that you don't have to do, but you can do. Yeah? So the refer HTTP header, so we know that an HTTP header is a thing we can use. Okay, cool. Contains some information about the address or the URL of a page that a user might be visiting from. So, okay, if somebody's coming to my page, this refer information is going to send some information about where that person came from in analytics. But I can say, you know what? It's nobody's business. I want to exclude this. And once I get that, so we're going to come to the rel attribute in our link. Okay. And I think what this wants us to do is no refer. And HTTP, oh, heck, y'all don't need that. What is HTTP? So this is really cool. This is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And this is sort of, MDN, do you have one of these? Hey, I thought you might. So HTTP is a method for sending things back and forth. Yeah. And all of these are going to look a little bit mysterious at the moment. But if you wanted to do some more reading, I'm only going to preview this a little tiny bit. If you want to do some more reading, here's a link to the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And this might be the kind of thing maybe Ramon and I might want to talk about with y'all after the boot camp. Yeah. So just to preview, if you wanted to learn what this is, cool. But if you don't, it's not a problem. So I think we've set the rel attribute to no refer. I like this because this previews some computer science knowledge you might want to learn about later. But right now, not deeply understanding the hypertext transfer protocol won't hurt us a bit, my love. We've got that green stripe. We can keep going until it's hard. Woof. Look at all this. Okay, below my author element, I'm making a new div called social icons. Okay, I'm going to get 5 A elements and then, okay, I'm going to make a div for social icons and then I'm going to make 5 links. Okay, this won't hurt. I mean, yeah. So div class equals social icons. Well, we're going to do everything wrong, but in a way that doesn't hurt us. Being wrong is super chill. Well, I think I've got to do it a lot. So we're going to do 5 links, just like an image. I am lazy. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make all of my links. Yeah. Now we've got 5 of them, it says. And I'm going to copy you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chill. Oh gosh, I'm saying it is chill. I'm not telling a single one of y'all to chill. So I'm going to copy and paste the URLs and I really like this because our class here is really human readable. This gives us a really good idea of what's going on because it says, hey, what we're doing in this div is we're having our social icons. I think this is going to be social media icons because here I see our link to Facebook. I see a link to Twitter. I see. Oh, this might be because a lot of you are young. What kind of social media do y'all use these days? I've been told the kids are all about TikTok, which is the oldest lady thing I'm going to say today. the kids are all about. The kids are like 20. So here we've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Is YouTube a social media site? Oh, you know what? I'm not going to judge whether or not it's a real social media site. I am instead going to check my code. We've got a green stripe and it can't hurt us. Okay, so this is saying, you know what? We're going to put an image inside of each of these, and we're going to give each of them the corresponding class. Yeah. Jeff is asking if pubs count as social media. I think you've got to bring a book. So we're going to go ahead and put an image link. Ooh, heck. Oh, somebody's saying they're on MySpace. Wild, absolutely wild. I love it. Oh, is image self-closing? Yeah, image is self-closing. If it's not. So I'm going to get my image screen. Oh, and I've got a class for each of these as well. You see that I'm just writing out the syntax. Asim, I'm going to pick on you. I hear this from so many people. So I like to talk to people about their on-ramps into working with how do you first touch code. And a lot of people say, "Oh, MySpace." And for those of you who are young, MySpace, you could use their little builder to build your little wall, or you could peek behind that and you could do the HTML. And I've heard folks say as well, like, "Oh, Neopets," for folks who are a little bit younger than me, say, "Oh, Neopets." Kai, you might be my age. GeoCities is where I first started playing it with this as well. Oh, we've got a bunch of people who are like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, Ramia's making a good point. I don't know what this eye image is. I think this is going to be an image. An eye element. Oh, I thought this was going to be an image, but maybe it wants. With our add an eye element. Well, let's check our code to see what it wants. I should have 5 eye elements. I'm going to cut this. Do we think it actually means eye? Yeah. Let's see. Do we have to the idiomatic text? So this is what I thought. So this is like the italics back in the day. Yeah. So we get a little. But I thought Mitch is after mine heart. You got to MDN before me. The I HTML element represents a range of text that is set off for normal text for some reason, such as idiomatic text, technical terms, taxonomical I did taxonomical fine and absolutely biffed it on designations, amongst others. Look at this. Look at this. So okay, it maybe it definitely wants this. I don't. Huh. It just feels weird. Why do you want? And an I element we close as well. This feels wild. You know what? Every time I think free code camp's wrong, it comes back and it's like, haha, I did this for a reason. I'm just coming in inside each of these links, and maybe we're having class. So the first class is Fab Facebook F. Then we've got Fab Fa Twitter. Okay. Oh, Cassium saying all of y'all are after my own heart. Say, you look, I think we're gonna use this for these icons. Icons. Okay. I got so used to the italic tag back in the day where I was like, what are we doing here? Facebook, Twitter. Instagram. We're just going through a list of ways to waste time in it. And then LinkedIn. Ooh, we're going to copy LinkedIn. Where are we? And then the last one, is that? Where are you red? Oh, you're red because I've goofed up. And Fab and FA. Okay. Oh, look at that. You all were absolutely right. I was sitting here with my like 1990s HTML, be like, why do you want to be in italics? Why do you? But one of the fonts that we imported has the access to all of the icons. Do you know what? I said I was going to be bad at CSS grid, but I completely forgot that I was going to be bad at modern HTML altogether. You all were so patient to be like, Jess, it means the icons here. Cool. And we see them down here. We've got a Facebook, a Twitter, little stripes between them, which are a little weird, but we've got that green stripe too. So everything's chill. So below our heading element, let's make another section. And this is where it's starting to feel a little bit like muscle memory because we've done sections, it's chill. And even if it doesn't feel like muscle memory, it's still chill. And we're going to make a class here. What are we going to make a class for? Oh, our class is set to text. Okay, that's relaxing. That's super mellow. Oh, sorry, there's a really interesting conversation about when to use M and when to use I. I is very old fashioned, I think. And I got distracted by people being very interesting. Rubbish of me. So the class, and let's set a P in here. And the class, there's a lot of classes. I bet we're going to do some stuff with it. I'm going to close our P. Ooh, that's a nice long paragraph, isn't it? Oh, we've got. Let me go ahead and format this document. Ooh, that's a weird way to format you. So we've got our section, and it started with text, and our section's closed, and our paragraphs opens and closed. But we still need this first paragraph as our class. Let me go and grab that and paste it in. Oh, Logan, I'm going to put this up on the screen because that's interesting. And Logan's saying, you know what? Even though that we know if we're going to style stuff, we probably want to use CSS and not HTML. MDN says that a browser will still usually display text contents of an I element as italics, but it doesn't need to. Wild. Love it. Fabulous. So I'm going to check this. I think this might work. We've got that green stripe. Everything's fine. So we're going to create another P element down here. It doesn't seem to have a class, so we can just zip along. Add this. Oh, we do have 2 paragraphs. Okay, check our code. What? It is within my text element. Oh. I'm going to restart our step because I think I did something goofy. So below my first paragraph, got it. I escaped out of the section. That is absolutely on me. So we still want to be in this section for text. Now we want to say, you know what? I think I just copied the wrong thing. I think I just copied all of my code instead of just copying this. That is absolutely what happened. So we've got our first paragraph ending here, our second paragraph starting here, and that looks, yeah, you're going to give me a green stripe now. Okay, and goofing up can't hurt us too bad. I'm going to copy and paste this very carefully. This seems to be about Back to the Future, which is a weird thing to say. I only saw that for the first time recently. Good movie. Okay. Oh no, it's spoilers. There's spoilers. If you haven't seen Back to the Future, I'm so sorry. We've got that green stripe, paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. It's safe. Everything's easy. So after these three paragraphs, let's look at them. Let's feel proud of them. Yes. Wait, flux capacitor. None of these are huge spoilers. These are fine. So if you haven't seen it, that's fine. We're going to create a text element within our text element. So before this section ends, we're good. We're going to make a block quote element. I don't think we've seen these yet. It's the very first time. Block quote, but I think there's a decent chance we know what's going on here. And we're going to give it the class of quote. Okay, a class of quote, super, super chill. And then we're going to add this text. Let's check and see what that's going to feel like, because this is our first time using a block quote. And I think it's going to feel a little bit different than using a P. Ooh, I'm going to scroll down because it refreshes. Oh, look at that. So we see that the text for our blog quote is styled differently. If we didn't like the styling, where would we go to change it? Way. Because the block quote contains semantic meaning. That means somebody using assistive technology knows, hey, this is a block quote. This is different, important. But if we wanted to style it differently, change the margins or change the spacing, where are we going to go to do that? We check our code. My code doesn't work. Oh. I read exactly half of the instructions and got excited, which y'all aren't used to me doing. So in here, add an HR element. Look at that. An HR element gives us that nice little scroll bar. Isn't that cool? So somebody's saying, hey, we're not going to get to the grid ones. I'm super happy to run a little long if that's okay with you. And y'all can just go get a cup of tea and fast forward if that's okay. So our P element goes in here. And the P element has a class set to quote. And the only reason I'm a little bit hesitant to skip ahead to the grid stuff is it's been really, really challenging to skip ahead in the past. Oh, look at that. The entire curriculum should be, that looks very cool. Somebody in the chat was suggesting that maybe Back to the Future isn't going to hold up for modern days. I literally just saw it for the first time ever, like 2 weeks ago. Definitely held up. So after the 3 P elements within our text element, create a block quote element. Oh, that's what we just did. Oh, thank you, Timmy Phil. Timmy Phil's like, hey, let me go get the NDN description. The block quote HTML indicates that the enclosed text is a quotation. That's the semantic meaning it's carrying with it. Rock. So below our block quote, let's get another P element in here. Doesn't have a class, so we can zip. We'll probably want to remove that class from block quote. Oh, yep, it just magically came out by itself. By magically, I mean FreeCodeCamp did it. But you're absolutely right. In the real world, I would have, see, I'm doing the exact same thing where I copy and paste my code instead of just this. Come here. Oof, this is so long. Copy. There we go. Ooh. Everything. Triple clicking. Ooh, Jeff. Triple clicking will select the entire line. If that's true, and I'm not doubting you, I'm just a little bit annoyed that I had not ever learned that before. I'm gonna go back in time and okay, let's see. Sometimes with computers or just anything, you learn something. Clicking 3 times real fast highlights the whole line. Jeff, I am delighted. You're gonna save me so much time, but I am real annoyed for my past self. Check our code. We've got that green stripe. Create one final one. Ah, it's just a line. Wow, it was worth a shot. One finer P element. Okay. And I think we should. Gonna come in. Oh, it's giving me a little bit more options of where I could put this, but I think it's gonna be in the text section. Look at that. That triple clicking thing is the most magical thing I've done in a while. There we go. Check our code. We've got a green stripe. Come on, give me the CSS. Come on, y'all. Section. Class. And we're just gonna go and go and go until we hit some of the hard stuff to preview it. I don't want to just do the stuff you've done before. It's not wasted time. It's time reviewing. And well, you know what? Time I spend with y'all is never wasted. Oh, and then in here, I'm going to make an article. And our article is going to have the class of brief history. Isn't that nice? And then an aside. I don't think I've ever used aside before. Do you think aside is going to be like this? And it's going to have a class set too. Image wrapper. Okay. Oh, okay. We've never seen the aside element before, but we just went ahead and used the very standard way to do it, and that worked. Come on, y'all, messing me about. Let me fail at grid live. My class is set to list title, which suggests we're about to make a list. And the text, a brief history. Okay, we matches the class. That makes sense. And below that, key element. Actually, do you know what? I'm not very good at movies or TV, and then I haven't watched a bunch. Being appropriate, like don't give me anything that's like super gory or violent. I mean, maybe horror movie. What are y'all's favorite movies? What would you recommend I try? And then pretty well, because y'all have such good taste. Where am I? Where are we? Who are we? Our class of this list. On the list, we're not going to see anything for the list yet. Is lists. Come down here. Okay, we've got our block quote. Got another paragraph. Brief history of the curriculum, and then no list yet. Cassium saying Kiki's Delivery Service as a favorite movie. That is such a good, like, I like the life lesson of not doing what you love as a job because it'll destroy. See some Godfathers. Hail Caesar. I've never heard of that. I live in a within our article, create an H3. Okay. Within my article. Oh, wait, we just did this. I'm not doing it again. Oof. No, I'm just going to skip this. Okay, so this one, well, let me talk through what I'm skipping. This is telling us to make these list items, and I'm going to skip this one just because I think y'all can do it. This one's saying, hey, inside our aside, make some images and a block quote. I'm going to let you do that. Is this a fair way to skip things? Say, okay, we're going to look at them and talk about them as we skip. So we've got, okay, so here we're going to make some image elements. Let's skip it. Oh, you know what? Somebody's saying Hitchcock as a recommendation. Our movie theater had like a Hitchcock thing, Hitchcock thing over the the summer. Summer's when it's hot. 23, we're going to set some extra images. Okay, we're going to skip that. 24, we're doing some more images. Okay, magazines have a lot of images. We're going to skip it again. This is the way that skipping makes more sense, doesn't it? Sorry, I could have done this a while ago. Here, we're doing an image quote. So we're probably going to add a caption for an image. Let's keep going. There we go. There we go. And I love that while I was skipping ahead, folks were giving me movie recommendations. I really like, so do y'all know the term? So here, normalize our CSS rules by getting in here with our sparkly baby. And our sparkly baby being our wild card selector, isn't it? I just saw the other day was Blue Velvet, which is David Lynch is a lot, isn't it? The padding, we're going to set you to 0. Okay. And our margin, we're going to set our margin to 0 as well. Oh, so you wanted to set my A and these two pseudo selectors, the before and after. Okay, that's chill. Ah, mellow. We've got that green stripe. None of this can hurt us anymore. I was, to skip ahead, I was just changing the numbers in the URL. I'm cheating. Oh, so create an HTML selector. Okay, so we're going to do everything. Our HTML selector is saying, hey, give me everything involved in HTML. Okay. And whoop. Here, we're going to set our font size to, oh, that's very specific, 62.5%. Oh, okay. Later we'll use rem, but that's fine. Here we're going to use box sizing as well. We're going to set that to border box. That's super chill. Y'all are just giving me really, really good movie recommendations, which I appreciate. Box sizing, why? Oh, gosh, that's a very, very common mistake, isn't it? Not adding my. We've got that green stripe. Everything's. Why not just set it to 10 pixels directly? Because they told us not to. Oh, we've got folks at Cassium saying you love musicals. I'm rubbish with musicals. Really, I am desperately uncultured. It's our font family right here. And so B movies is a term for, is that the font family to Baskerville? That's very pretty. And I bet this is one of those fonts we've loaded earlier. And we're going to set a fallback to serif. I don't remember if there's a comma. Oh, there's definitely not one there. There might be a comma for a fallback. Oh, I'm allergic to the holes, everything. So we'll check it this way. And if it's not, we'll just change it. It won't hurt us. Our color is linen. Isn't that well, our color is linen. Isn't that descriptive? Ooh. I think we're going to change the background color here. Make it something where we can actually see that. We're using the RGB selector we've used before. And here we're setting it to 20. Okay. Give me 20 red. Give me 30 green. And could I please have 40 blue? Okay. So we're getting some of this. Oh, lovely. To check our code. We've got that green stripe. Nothing can hurt us. Everything's fine. Okay. You still want me to donate? I promise it's fine. Oh, do you know what? I just saw a B movie, so an independent movie, nice and cheap. B movies mean they're not made with the big bucks. We're going to do an H1 selector here with our curly babies. And set our font family to Anton with a fallback of sans serif. And we used a comma last time between our fallback, and that worked, so we'll do it again. But I just saw a movie called Strawberry Mansion. And it was about dreams. It was B for budget for sans serifs. And it was such a joyful movie. It was clearly made with a lot of heart. It was really fun and like really wild, bright colors. So we're going to do a selector that does our H2s, and it's the comma After it's also one for each. You know what? Let's copy this baby in it. Oh, Carlos is recommending Hannibal, the TV series. And I'm going to say something that's going to make me sound like a serial killer. I've seen it. And sometimes if I can't sleep, I'll put on the TV to sleep to. And I actually really like to sleep to Hannibal, not because of the murder. I'm going to set this to Railway as the font. Um, but because most of Hannibal is just like actors with beautiful voices talking to each other about who's smartest. I find it very relaxing to sleep to. But I'm aware that it's probably weird. Okay, that worked just fine. Everything's fine. Let's keep doing some CSS. We're going to get our A selector, and this is going to do all of our links for us. We're going to use text decoration. And this is, I don't think we, decoration. I don't think we've done any text decoration yet. And you'll notice that by default, all of our links have, can I just zoom in on? No, I can zoom in on everything. By default, we've got that underline on these. Oh gosh, Ramia, you've read the Hannibal book. I don't think I've read them. Do you recommend them? For anybody who grew up in the U.S., I really like for anybody who grew up in the U.S. I'm going to set the text decoration to none, and who's old enough to remember the 90s, falling asleep to. Mystery Science Theater is incredibly relaxing. Oh, cool. Look what we did. What we did here is we said, hey, for all of my links, I don't need you to underline them. And also, can you make them the same color as the rest of the text? So if I hover over them, I get a link. Mystery Science Theater is just immensely relaxing if you want to fall asleep to quiet, reassuring American voices talking about the 90s. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Let's do some grid. Let's do some, because this doesn't look at all like that very pretty preview we saw, did we? For those of you who are British, I've been told that Red Dwarf is sort of the cultural equivalent of Mystery Science Theater. Where are we? Where are we? So I'm going to use the main selector. That's everything in my main element. I'm going to set display. And this feels familiar. You say, display. We're going to set the display to flex. And I say, no. I'm going to set the display to grid. It hasn't done a lot. It's squished a little bit. It hasn't done a lot. I bet we're going to do some more stuff with grid. We got our green stripe. We can bop along. Now, let's talk about grid. Let's talk about grid. Let's talk about grid in a relaxed way. And we can keep talking about TV at the same time. It won't hurt us. So grid is kind of similar to Flexbox in that it's a mental model, a conceptual way to imagine where things can land, but it's also a very literal way to style this. Yeah. So here, when we say main is a grid, we mean that all of the child elements within grid have to follow grid rules. As soon as we start setting these grid rules, okay, we're going to draw our grid. Cool. Could somebody drop the, Kinjal, could you grab the Discord link, please, for Veronica? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to say grid template columns. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, hey, I want one grid, FR. Okay. And then I would like one that is 94 rem. Okay. Ooh, stuff is wiggly. And this is how about let's add another one that's 1 FR. Okay. Let's talk about what this did, because this looks weird, right? This looks weird. It's cool. It only looks weird for a second. And let's talk about why it looks weird. We set the size of 3 columns in our grid template columns. Okay, so think of grid template as drawing the map of your grid. Cool. And this is saying, I would like some columns, please. I'm going to draw. I'm going to describe to you the columns I want on my grid. And I'd like one to be 1 FR wide. Is FR a special unit? Let's look up. FRMN. Let's go get it. CSS values units. Let's go get. No, relative length. Give me FR. Give me FR. Where are you? Maybe it is just for grid. If anybody gets there before me, oh, I massively recommend this video. Ooh, cool. Hang on. Let me go ahead and drop this in overall. It's fraction. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Jeff. I hope me consistently complimenting you doesn't make it sound like it's compulsory for you to tag along, but you are just so helpful here. So it's a fraction, so one portion. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Dominique is saying, you know what? It gave us the information here to say the first and last columns are one fraction of the remaining space. Mitch is suggesting we control F, but I think there's a lot of words that start with FR, so we'd have a difficult time. Where is this video? So this, I'm actually going to, oh no, this is what you get. What? Reject all. I'm actually going to be super, super mean. Always mean. And I'm going to give you this as bonus homework if you want to. Because Miriam did these videos, and Miriam is so smart and so cool. Really, we should get Miriam to do this instead of me. So Jeff points out that 1FR is one chunk of this. And we've said, hey, I want to create, my middle column is 94 rem, and then one section each on either side. So here I think we're going to get equally sized columns based on the amount that's left. So if we said, I want this to be 194, we see this stretch way out, but the two on the end stay equal size chunks. Okay. Oh, yep. Are both one fraction of the remaining space in the grid container. Carlos. Perfect, Carlos. If there's no more space, it's going to wrap that to the next row because we said columns here. We didn't say a dang thing about row. Yeah, columns. It's just We're going to check our code. I think this is going to make more sense as we go, but y'all are going to have to keep after me because I have no idea what's going on here. We're going to use the min-max function. Okay. Use the min-max function to make your columns responsive on any device. Okay. I think min-max, I think functions take those smooth babies, don't they? Even in CSS. Whoop, where are you? Min-max CSS MBN. Yeah. Give me min-max. We do need our little smooth braces here. That's what me being right about something. Let me go ahead and grab you this from min-max. Just throwing them in here as we go. Ramia saying, hey, you know what? Flex and grid are hard. Flex and grid are hard. This is not you being weird. These are genuinely super hard. So, min-max. Let me remember the functions. We got the smooth babies. Is this not how I do min-max? You don't seem to be looking like I think I want you to. Oh, excuse me, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, we need to put it as part of a property. That makes quite a bit of sense. So, wrap each of our defined. Okay. So here's what's going on. We've got these three values here. What we're going to do is we're going to use the min-max function 3 times, I think, and we're going to put each of these values in a min-max function. Yeah? Does that feel right? So this doesn't go anywhere. I'm going to copy you 3 times, you being min-max. I'm going to paste you right here. 1, 2, 3, maybe with a space. And this first one is 1 fraction. Okay, I'm going to get rid of you just so I remember this. The next one is 94 rem. The last one is 1 FR. I don't know if this is going to work like this. Oh, goodbye, min-max. Goodbye, bonus. So this is one thing I want to talk about a little bit because this is super, super helpful. One little cheat that free code camps give us is if you're able to see the color in this code. Oh, we need both a minimum and a maximum argument. Using each value as the second argument. Hang on. First, we'll talk about color, and then I promise I'm going to start reading min and max. We need a min and max. So this highlighting syntax will say, you know what? This is turned red. This looks like it's right. So 1 FR is the second. So that's our maximum. 2 rem. Does that feel right? Where'd you go, min max? Yeah. And then we've got that comma between them and the space. Chill. I'm again not telling you all to chill. I'm chilling myself out. And then, min content over here. And then 2 rem again. Absolutely not. This is a mess. This is a mess. One of our columns on top of the other column, which is on top of the other one. This looks wrong as heck, but I think it's right because it's wrong in a way that we're progressing. This is wrong as the day is long, but as we go, we're going to continue to be wrong in ways that teach us more and more about this. And this is saying, look at this. Even step 35 is saying, babe, this is wrong. We're going to have some space between our rows because these are all up on top of each other and this isn't great. So the main selector is going to get a row gap, okay, property of 3 rem. Give the main property a row gap. That didn't seem to fix it. Did it fix it? This is saying it's better, but this doesn't look any better. Our magazine will have 3 primary sections. I've set the overall layout in the main rule, but I can adjust the placement in the child rules. Okay, so I've set the grid rules for main, but I can set new grid rules inside of my child sections to sort of I can put a grid inside a grid inside a grid. It is grids all the way down as far as your heart desires. Yeah? So a grid column property is shorthand for grid column start and grid column end. So we're going to do a weird thing. We're going to use our heading class. We're going to get our curly babies out. And we're going to say grid column. COLU. If you ever wanted to give a review of this class, you'd be like, oh, that Jess, very smiley, can't spell, because that is accurate. And this is weird. So here, we're going to create a grid that starts on line 2 and it ends on grid line 3. And this is a grid that's separate, that's a child of our big grid. This feels weird. Yeah, this feels super weird. Got a suggestion that we should inspect. Actually, this is not as helpful, is it? Oh, heck. Where are we? So this still feels weird. Let's keep going. It's going to keep feeling weird till it doesn't feel as weird. Or if you're me, it's going to feel weird forever. So let's go into our text section and we'll get our curly base. The text, we've got our class selector. And I say, hey, I want to make you a grid too. I want to set your grid column. I want it to feel a lot like the grid we just made. Okay. I want you to start on the second conceptual line and end on the third. And you say, Jess, this is so weird. And I say, look, I don't know what's happening either. Let's keep going. For additional control, we can have a grid within a grid. Okay. So here, our display is going to be grid. Ah. This is a lot, isn't it? Now we can style the content of the heading with CSS grid. Can we style the, can we? So the CSS repeat function is used to repeat a value instead of writing it out manually, and it's helpful for grid layout. Look, you all can tell how far out of my depth I am. I'm just reading. We are all lost together. So the repeat function repeats a value. Okay. And it's good for grid layouts. Okay, so here we're going to say grid template columns to repeat 200 pixels would make 20 columns that are 200 pixels wild. Okay, I got this. We got this. This is fine. I mean, it's not fine. So our head, we're going to grid template columns. I'm going to use this repeat function. I'm glad we're doing this together because I would be so lost without y'all. Oh, grid by example is so useful. Platypus is saying 20 pixels wild instead of wide, right? Or 200 pixels wild. Where am I? So we're going to repeat and we're going to make 2 columns. Okay. And they're going to be 1 fraction each. So they're going to be 2 columns that are equal sized. Oh. Okay. So this column where our new curriculum lives and this column by Free Code Camp, are they both the same? I guess if that ends here. Yeah. And check our code. That seems to be fine. This still feels very scary, but we can be scared together. We're going to set our row gap, which we've done before. This can't hurt us. And the thing is, even if this is scary and weird, it's just CSS. Nothing is going to happen if you get stuck or if you're wrong. Oh, that gave us a little gap between our rows here, between our, okay, that was quite cool. That was helpful. That wasn't very scary. Remember the grid property width determines which columns and elements starts and ends at. And whenever you're not sure how many columns your grid has, but you wanted to stop at the last column, we can use -1. Okay. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me yet. I'm going to use the hero class selector. Doop. Where am I? Where are we? Who are we? Why are we here? Where does our grid? Y'all love that we went from talking about horror movies to like, why? What? Why? And then we're going to set it to 1. So start at 1 and end at -1. Okay. Oh. So our hero 1 and -1 said start at the first column, but then -1 for the end column. So begin at the beginning and end at the end. Okay. Still feels a little stressful, but we've got that green stripe. We can keep going. So we're going to, okay. So the position. We've done this. The position, usually we've been setting it to absolute. We're going to set it to relative this time. Wild. Got that green stripe. Let's keep going. Yeah, potassium, you make such a good point, and I really think that this is a good point because it really describes the fiddliness. It's a very technical term, the fiddliness of just getting started working with CSS Grid is it feels a little bit like typesetting. So people back in the day when they needed to print something would take little blocks and print them on printing presses and print them out. Or even more modern, you would arrange how the type is going to be. And this feels like typesetting. Where, oh, up here, oh, but maybe down here. Feels very manual. If you get stuck, it's okay. And this might be one of the things to just go through and try all the steps and then come back and try and reason through it. Just because grid might be one of those things that this is very technical, very serious, might just sort of feel out and see if it makes sense when it makes sense. So remember when I said, oh, we're adding a width attribute in line and that feels janky. Let's get rid of her. Woo! Ooh! Wait. I bet that we've removed that because we're going to fix this image over here. Image selector. Okay. Is that going to be all of our images? Yeah, I bet. And the width. None of our images are going to be bigger than 100% of their parent. Okay. Oh, I haven't seen object fit in this class before. Object fit cover. And cover says how we'll put this in a container. And this says, hey, we're going to have this fill its container, even if you need to crop it a little bit to avoid changing the aspect ratio. Okay, so this is saying, hey, take up 100% of the width, but don't warp this, please. Okay. So here we're going to use the class selection for hero title. Okay. And this is weird and this is scary, but it's not going to hurt us. Well, as long, actually, yeah, if I can teach y'all anything, well, y'all are way better than me at a lot of things. But if I could teach you anything, it's that so we set our text align to center, bop that right over. It's that being real chill about screwing stuff up makes everything feel a little bit easier. We're going to set our text line to set, we're going to set our color. We're going to change our color. Oh, to orange red. Oh, that's wild. Oh, it's a very, very bold tiger color. We're going to set our font size. We're just setting the font for our hero title class. I'm going to set that to 8 rem. Oh, that's quite big. That is quite big. But we've got our little green stripe, and it said we would like the subtitle. Let's style our subtitle as well. Let's take our hero subtitle class selector. We got our curly babies out. And we're going to set our font size to 2.4 rem. Okay. Oh, heck. Color is also our color is also orange red. Okay, that makes okay. And then our text, we're going to center that as well. Okay. And do you hear my tone just completely change? So I'm like, look, we're back on solid ground. I feel okay with the CSS. We're not doing grid stuff. I'm going to get very, very relaxed. So when the grid comes back, I can tense up, or I can abandon you and let you do it. We'll do a little bit more grid together. Temptation to abandon you is very, very high. Our author, AUTHOR, that's how we spell author, is going to have the font size. And y'all know what to do if you get stuck. It's set to them. Okay. And our font family is going to be set to Railway, which again, is the first time I've ever heard of this font. And a fallback of Sans Serif. So many fonts sound so fancy. Okay, we've got this lacy little font. Beautiful. Let's keep going a little bit more. Ooh, we're going to change it so the author name changes when the author name will change when we hover over it. So here I'm going to, grab the class for author name. And I see a really good question about reviewing position absolute and position relative. Um, Give me just a second. So I want to change the behavior of the link, only the link. Let's look at what this is. So within the class of author name, I only want to target the link and I only want to change the styling when my user's hovering over it. Give them another little hint because right now, ooh, let's find you. By free code, I don't have a lot of indication that this is a link, except for I get my little pointer out. Here I want to say, hey, background color. I want to change the background color when I hover over this. Give a set of oomph. I want to set that to 30, 62, and 03. Okay. Ooh, set for green? Green? Do I like 30, 62? All right. Where are we? Author name, hover. This will create a hover effect only for double colons instead of single. Sorry, y'all. So now when I hover over this, the background turns green. That took me a minute. So let's go ahead and find position. Let's see what our options are, because this question, I'm going to put you up on screen to be mean to you. How does position absolute and position relative differ? Let's go get them. Oh, again instead. Position. Fabulous. And we've got a bunch of options. We don't just have absolute and relative. We've got a bunch of different things going on. Let me show me relative. Talk to me about relative. So static. Static is the same. If I say position static, it's the same as not adding a position at all. It's the default value. Say, hey, static is saying go with the normal document flow, but we haven't learned that. Relative, this one is saying, hey, we're still going with the normal flow, but it's offset relative to itself. So it's saying, you know what? We're going to get the same vibe. We're going to get the same feel as if it was in the regular flow, but it's going to give us some space. It's going to give us some stackability. It's going to give us the ability to stack content on top of each other, which might be useful in grid. Yeah. Let me go ahead and drop all of these for you. I think the big difference, it looks like the element is positioned according to the normal flow of the document and then offset relative to itself. If you added top, left, right, and bottom, it would offset it based on where it sits, not other things. And I think where it's going to be important in grid is the value contains a new stacking context. So it lets us maybe put things on top of each other. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. It was kind of woofly for me to do it that way. Where are we? Let's give our publish date. Oh gosh, I've left you on the screen. I'm being mean to you, my love. Y'all can't post links here. I bet I can post links here. Ain't nobody the boss of me. Kinjal, are you able to post the Discord link in here? Is that a thing we can do? We can set, you know what? It's the best way to do that. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of admin. Wait, is that a list here? Invite people. Haha, I've got it. Oh gosh, you beat me. Thank you very much. You're very big. That's Kinjal grabbing the link way before I did. Kinjal is so smart and so cool and did that really cool Tiger's website I showed you a while ago. Where am I? Where am I? Who are we? Publish date. And I'm conscious that we've been going for a while, so I might be unkind to y'all and abandon you soon. Our color, we're going to set to this RGBA. What does the A do? Does anybody remember what this A does? Because I think this is going to be important with maybe the concept of stackability, the ability to put stuff on top of each other. Because I'm saying, give me as much red as you have. Give me every single drop of green. I insist on the maximum blue. Here with the 0.5, I'm saying, hey, make this a little bit see-through. Michael, you're perfect. It is absolutely the transparency, isn't it? Perfect. Cassian, look at you. An additional, you say, that is the alpha channel, which makes stuff transparent. Perfect, wonderful, amazing, incomparable. So that's the publish date should be a little bit see-through. Doesn't feel very see-through. Did I do that right? RGBA. Yeah. All right, what'd I do? Publish date is right. Color. Let's just do this over again. So publish date, selector. Here I say when the color is going to be set to RGBA. Did I misspell RGBA? Honestly, y'all, the absolute fact that you continue to hang out with me here on the internet is a testament to how kind you are to old women. Okay, see, it was absolutely wrong. Look at the cheerfulness with which I'm. And look, this is what, because this is white, but it's sort of a transparent white, which gives us a little bit of gray vibe. Nice. And check our code. Everything's stressful, but everything's fine. I'm going to do 3 more lessons, if that's okay. And then, just because we've been going for right about an hour and a half, and I'm conscious that is forever for most of y'all. And you love how I'm saying, oh, we're going to go ahead and end soon so you all can get a break. You know what it is I am hungry. Oh, so I'm creating a grid for my social icons. So here, I'm going to make these babies a grid. Let's make them a grid. Let's make them a grid. Okay, so that grid hasn't done much. I'm going to set my font size. And because these icons are in a font, setting the font size here should just embiggen these pictures. Embiggen being a highly technical imaginary word. Did that work? Well, whenever we're not sure if it worked, it doesn't seem like it worked. Font size property, set it to 3 rem, and I set it to 30, and it didn't work. Let's check our code to see what's went wrong. Y'all. Now that we've spelled that correctly, we see both that grid has come in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, computers. We see that grid has actually worked, and these are lined up in a grid. Single column grid by default. And the font size is expanded. Look at me just like, why doesn't this work? I feel like because you haven't spelled anything right, Jess. The default settings for CSS grid will create additional rows when we need them. So let's go ahead and set our social icon, a grid template columns, repeat 5, 1FR, and that's going to lay these babies out in a single row. Because right now they're in a column, and that column feels weird, doesn't it? So grid template columns. And we're going to set this to the repeat function. Our template columns hasn't done anything yet. That's okay. We're going to have 5 columns. Has that done anything? Nothing. Nothing. But all of those columns are going to be 1 FR. Look at this. Everything's fine. This is much less stressful. I say, hey, I want a grid inside the main grid, and I want it to have 5 columns for each of my icons. And then I want it to be each of them to take up an equal fraction. Oh, this might be a good place to end just because this is really, really satisfying. And I know if I keep going, it won't be. Let's take a look at what else we have to do here. Look at all these I skipped. So you are actually going to continue to do some more grid stuff. Let's take a look at what the final product will feel like. Oh, I'm gonna hide that so there's no spoilers. Oh wait, I can hide it by getting rid of CSS and index. No, goodbye. So here we can see everything laid out, and this feels really gritty. I bet you're part of a grid. I bet you're part of a grid. This looks like it's going to be really satisfying when you do it. Let's talk homework. I'd love to see you do a little bit more in this section if you can. Yeah. If you finish all of this overnight, I would be shocked. I wouldn't be able to finish this overnight by myself. But if you do, do you know if you finish all this and you finish all this without stressing yourselves out, that's the most important homework is be gentle to yourself. You come back and brag, right? So your homework is please to be as gentle to yourself as possible. And please do a little bit more work on this if you can. Tomorrow, we're going to have an extremely relaxing session. Michael saying, do we have to do the skipped ones? Y'all got to do all of these on, even the ones I show you, you've got to do. Well, you don't have to. Technically, you can just do the projects and still get your certifications. So what we're going to do, oh gosh, deep breath and come on down. Oh, it's a product landing page next. Ooh, and look what we're doing next week. Look what we're doing next week. Next week, we're doing my favorite ones. Of course, all of these lessons are important. But next week, we are doing animation transforms, which will feel like animation. And we're doing the most important project. But tomorrow, we're going to be doing the product landing page. And this is going to feel a lot like the kinds of work you often do out in the real world. I mean, you might not work for a trombone company, but if any of you are learning because you want to make your own website to sell stuff or sell your services, this is going to be an especially good project to work on. I'm going to go ahead and let you all go just because I've had you for an hour and a half, and that's a lot of your time. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Everything's fine and everything's going. Oh, and don't forget on Thursday, we're going to have Parham come and talk to us. And he's going to talk to us more about accessibility, which is going to be really useful. Y'all have the most relaxing time possible. And if you can make it tomorrow, I'll bother y'all tomorrow. Bye, loves.